All
right, here we go. Get ready to have a good time. This is exciting, isn't it?
All right, we're on.
Hello, testing.
Welcome aboard the Dreamliner.
It's the only way to fly.
I've allotted 1 hour for recreational activity. There's no time for irrelevant conversation. Fun will now commence.
Gary.
Here's a young speaker who is really in demand.
Don't let that go to your head, Gary.
But wait, there's more.
That's what I'm talking about.
He is Garry Meier.
3, 2, 1, 0.
I'm Todd Pickering, news anchor for this, the GarrForce News Network. As we get underway with the Friday, June 10th, 2022 edition of the Garry Meier Show Cocktail Hour Live.
Cocktails, woo, drinks.
At 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central. I've been asked to provide this public service announcement. A week from Sunday is Father's Day. We're in the heart of tornado season and at the start of tropical storm season. So all of you dads out there, it's time to be sure that all of your storm preparations are in place. Your families need you not to get sucked out of the storm cellar by an EF5 tornado. Here at GarrForce, we all enjoy watching the movie Twister over and over again and urge you to refrain from reenacting this fine feature film. Let your family celebrate Father's Day together and not chasing after the EF5 that took away your paw. I love Twister, Garry.
Thanks for streaming along with us. Of course, no matter where you are, it's time for a digital mimosa. If you're new to the show, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Our preferred streaming platform is the GarrForce Live YouTube channel. When you subscribe there, hit the bell icon to be notified when we're live. Like and share the show on all the social media channels, and know that during our live show, we can see your comments on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, which means we may show them on the screen and or talk about them. Now, fasten your seatbelts. It's time to go wheels up on the GarrForce Live.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you, Todd Pickering. Have not seen Todd for a while. I want to send out condolences to Todd on the passing of his mother, and we always appreciate whatever Todd does for the program. Yes, I'm a big Twister fan, and Helen Hunt has got to find that tornado that killed her paw. I believe there's going to be a Twister 2. Oh, I can only hope. Let's do what we have to do first. Kick the tires, light the fires. There are the tires. Light them up. And we'll have fun till our daddy takes the liquor cart away. As you have heard, my guest today will be Patrick Reynolds. He is the grandson of tobacco magnate RJ Reynolds. He has a quite interesting story to tell. And we're going to do what we always do on Friday. Well, we drink and we also give away stuff. Leslie's going to give away a wine condom and something else out of her fun bag. Ryan will be here with the Wisconsin Report. And I'm going to talk to other producer, Keith. Keith produces Monday through Thursday and does a fine job. And, well, let's do this right now. First of all, we have to release the wine condom to make this really official. Leslie, how are you? Oops. You don't want to hear oops in the cockpit.
Oops. Here we go.
I still have a sake juice box,
Yes.
but you can't put a condom on a sake juice box. I'm going to have to save that for personal use.
That's what my bumper sticker now says. And as predicted, whenever we stumble into something of that phraseology, we feel Alan pulling it out and doing something with it. And he has taken that comment you made and put it with your puppet. And now it's officially a bumper sticker.
And as we've realized, a lot of the most successful people in media these days have a puppet as a sidekick. So at some point, folks, I may not be here like this. There you go.
You will be here, but that way.
As Ratso Lizzo, yes. But
Ratso Lizzo.
Sorry to bust your bubble or, screw with your EF5s or however they designate a tornado these days. It doesn't look like a Twister 2 is in the works after all. There was
Really?
buzz about it. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm looking at looper.com and they're like, it doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. So,
okay.
But,
all right.
Helen.
Well, why we do
around?
this? For disappointment, to relieve the disappointment every week. That's a disappointment. So let's pop the condom. Look at the top. Oh,
and that's
God.
Never a disappointment.
No.
Oh, that's.
Is it ready to go?
Good.
Here it goes.
Yes, it is.
Here it goes. Here it goes. Oh, that's oopa. There it goes. All right. So we're going to oil the Bobcat and all the other things we do on the Friday show. And that includes saying hello to people that have checked in. A lot of people have checked in already. Martin always checks in from British Columbia, but let's do the official hello from Keely-Ann. She sends something early as always. And here's what she wants to say to us to start the program. Alan, let's put that up on the screen.
Working on it.
What's going on in the cockpit?
You're calling things in a new order, which means I got to get to them in a different order.
Well, you're fine.
There
Here we go. Took my schnauzer for a walk, but got caught in a rain shower on the way back home. I can't get the smell out of a wet schnauzer there. Out of my. Hey, it happens.
A lot of people, yeah.
Get a towel and just do that.
Rough it up.
Yeah. Just get it all nice and dry.
Speaking of schnauzers, we got a schnauzer mystery going on right here, right now. Ryan, our Wisconsin reporter, sent quite a few things this week to go into the fun bag. So he wants to see it nice and full, and glory be, it is. But something I thought he sent me turned out not to be from him. And it is a Schnauzer Company bath soap, like metal objet d'art here. And it says established 1959, wash your schnauzer.
Okay.
So, if you sent this to me, thank you. And
we're guessing it's Tracy from Racine. That has her fingerprints on it.
It kind of does.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a giveaway.
But we'll see. And no, I'm going to put it up for a few days here around the broadcast nook, and then I'm going to give it away.
Okay. Greg said he'd love to see your fun bags. She only has one. Stop it. All right. Let me say official hellos. Martin from British Columbia, always there. Good to see you, Martin. And Brian from Cabo San Lucas. And if you've ever been there, that's a sweet piece of the earth in the Baja. Nice. He's down on the beach with his drink and a Lexardo cherry, fetching on all fours, streaming our schnauzer. And David is on runway 18L from Venice, Florida. David, from wherever he's from, he said, show your schnauzer some love. Yes, that's what we recommend. David R. Marianne.
Confirmation. Tracy.
Yes. Tracy said it. Okay. Thank you, Tracy. Scott and Johnny from Michigan. And now I go to the screen door. Is this the right way?
Yes, it is. Nope. Yep.
That's it. Okay. Tracy, she's it. I confirm that's my schnauzer thing. Lynn, Jean, Doug, Greg, nice fun bags, and there's a fun bag chant going on out there. Okay. Thank you all for checking in. Okay. Okay, there it is. Ready to give away sometime. All right. You have been hearing me talk about Patrick Reynolds, and we're going to bring him on the program. And this is a pretty fascinating story as far as I'm concerned. And we're going to talk to Patrick right now. Patrick, welcome to the program.
I'm glad to be here, Gary.
Hey, I want to go into your history first, and then we'll work towards the anti-smoking activist that you are. Okay, RJ Reynolds, your grandfather. And this guy comes up with a tobacco fortune, and you are the son of his son, RJ Reynolds Jr. Okay, you never had any contact with your grandfather because he died many years before you were born. So now let's talk about your childhood. Your mother and father split when you were 3, right?
They did. Yes, they did. And My grandfather founded the company born in 1825, founded in 1850. And my dad was born around 1906. And I am somewhere between 40 and death.
Okay. So your parents split when you were 3, and you don't really recall this, but did your mother say you were living the real good life in those years? And what happened after they split? Did you have no relationship with your father? Tell me about that.
Sure. Put it this way. My father, who inherited $28 million in 1932, if you please, and had a gigantic allowance prior to that in which he could finance Broadway shows and do whatever, buy a Rolls Royce, whatever he wanted. Then he got the big money. And he would go on to, of course, become an alcoholic. And, I do come from a long line of Irish drunks. And I don't drink a lot, because I know how it destroyed my father's life and how alcoholism is cunning, baffling, and powerful. It just destroys families. It destroyed mine. So, but that and inherited money at a young age. Now, my dad was married 4 times. He was a playboy in the 1920s. And after that, he was pretty monogamous. My mother was the second of his 4 wives. She was under contract to Warner Brothers, an extremely beautiful woman. Oh my God. And she could stop traffic. But at one point she had an affair. And of all people, she decided to have an affair with Porfirio Rubirosa, who was a famous Latin playboy and lover and gigolo of the 1950s. So around 1950, 51, she succumbed to Ruby's charms. Lots of articles about him in Vanity Fair. And he married Doris Duke. He married Barbara Hutton. Anyway, my father had detectives, and she got caught in the affair. And word leaked out to Walter Winchell, who put it in his column. And there it was, RJ Reynolds Jr.'s wife having an affair with, Ruby Rosa, who was quite notorious for being horse-like. And my dad was quite confident in that area, but he really was humiliated, and that led to their divorce. So in the divorce, in those days, there was no fault divorce. It meant that whoever got caught in the affair had to pay. And so my mother, instead of getting the $9 million that his first wife got, only got $2 million. And half of that was tied up in real estate, and the other half was tied up in tax-free bonds at 2%, and would remain so until her death in 1985, at which time my brother and I got half of each of that. It was still worth only $1 million after all those years. But she bought stock in IBM. Anyway, we lived well, we lived okay, but she had to sell the really big homes. The mansion on Biscayne Bay in Miami Beach, South Beach, which took up 5 lots on Biscayne Bay, that was gone. We moved into a smaller but nice upper middle class home across the bay in Bay Point. And in New York, she had to give up her 2 floors of Beekman Place, which where Auntie Mame lived. It was the great place to live. And my father had remodeled that apartment at cost of $500,000 in 1945. So basically, the big places were gone, but we got a nice 2-bedroom on 52nd Street between First and the River. And we shuttled back and forth between Miami and New York and a lot of New England boarding schools. So I grew up more normally than I might have had my mother not been caught in the affair. And I said to her, and I wrote a book, The Gilded Leaf, about all this. And I said Amazon, whatever. And The Gilded Leaf, when I was doing interviews, one night she had a couple of drinks. She liked to drink. And I said to her, why did you have the affair with Ruby Rosa? She had a lot of shame about it. She was raised Catholic and went to a convent to study in high school. So she said to me, drink in hand, look, Patrick, I was standing on the deck of a 200-foot yacht, one of the largest in the world. We were anchored in the port at Monte Carlo, and the lights of the city were beckoning to me. And every night your father would be passed out from drink by 5 o'clock, because he liked to get up at 3 in the morning, reliving his Navy days in the Pacific during World War II. He loved the early morning hours, and he would drink starting early in the day and then be out cold by 5 o'clock. I could not go ashore. I was drop dead gorgeous. I had designer gowns. I had beautiful. I was beautiful, and I was a prisoner on that boat because a woman did not go ashore without her husband. And when Ruby Rosa and his best buddy, the Prince Ali Khan, who was head of the Muslim world at that time, began calling and saying, Marianne, come to the casino, come to dinner, bring Dick. Yeah, right. And of course, they knew Dick was going to be passed out. So she came finally alone. And that was the beginning. And she gave into his charms in Miami. So basically, she got caught in an affair. And that's why I grew up really kind of under more normal circumstances. And later, when my father turned, he later got emphysema caused by smoking the brands that made our family so wealthy and powerful. And I never really had my dad anyway, because after the divorce, he was bitter and he never really spent time with me or my brother, and nor with his first 4 sons by the first wife. So without a dad there, that led to a lot of, confusion and, I've lots of therapy, years of therapy later.
Wow.
Here I am. So, but I decided later to go against my family business.
Yeah. Let me step up to that. I got some other stuff. When you were talking, you said, obviously my father was an alcoholic, and why would that be obvious? And is this one of those stories where we hear these families that have this incredible wealth and it's a whole complete shit show of people that can't be happy for some reason?
Well, yeah, but he was happy. He was a happy drunk.
But did he work, Patrick? Did he work, or did he just live off his father's money? Did he do anything besides spend money?
I'm gonna give him due credit. He was a visionary. He could see what was coming, and he was an ardent Democrat. He funded the presidential campaign of Roosevelt, FDR, and helped put him in office. And later, the same thing with Harry Truman. He said, in 500 years, we're all going to be one race. He bought gold. He saw that there would be inflation. He was buying gold up at $40 an ounce, and he hid it on his private 12-mile-long island off the coast of Georgia, which now belongs to the state, Sapelo Island, one of the most beautiful places on the planet. But lest I ramble, my dad, he did work. He put presidents in office. He wanted to run for Congress, but the Democratic Party didn't take him seriously. The only thing they took seriously was the huge donations that he made, $300,000 loan to the Democrats, which got Harry Truman elected at the last minute. But then he got indicted to testify before Congress, thinking that was an illegal donation. And he was so drunk in the shower that his pilot had to come and wake him up in the collapsed, sleeping in the hotel room shower stall to get him down to the hearing in time in Washington. So he got off. But that was kind of the life he led. He was a visionary. He did put presidents in office. He started the ecology movement. Nobody knows that. He funded the work of a professor from the University of Georgia, Eugene P. Odom, who published a paper, a seminal paper called The Ecology of a Salt Marsh. And it for the first time disclosed the fragility of the cycle of nature in the wetlands. And his island had miles and miles of wetlands. And he'd established a Marine Biological Institute there, today known as the Sapelo Foundation. And they give away millions every year to charities and for marine biology research and so on. And I probably could have made a couple $100 million developing the island, but it is one of the last places on the planet where you see that the cycle of nature is intact because it's practically uninhabited. Up on the north end, there's a community of blacks, and now it's mixed because a lot of them sold to white hunters who wanted a hunting home on the shore. The duck hunting there is amazing. And so Sapelo is really where the ecology movement began, because when that paper was published, it got incredible acclaim in the scientific community. And it led to understanding the fragility of the cycle with endangered animals and so on. So my dad.
So you were 15 when your father died, right?
The short answer is yes, he worked.
Yeah,
But
okay.
and
he did a lot of things apparently, and it wasn't just sucking off the family trough.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was quite a visionary. So you're 15 when he dies. And where does that put you in the family zeitgeist? I read where you inherited $2 million when you turned 21. Is that true?
Yeah, you've done your homework. 2.5 actually.
2.5.
And,
okay.
Yeah.
If my calculation is right, that's in the 60s, 70s. So that's right. Oh, yeah.
That would be correct.
That's good money today, let alone 50 years ago.
Yeah, but if I had held on to it, I mean, I had no father there to show me how to manage money. I got better at it over the years, but to be honest, most of that is gone. And I had quite an interesting life. I mean, but I had no father there. I always went after my dreams, my passions. I was an actor for a while, and now I'm going after doing a political action committee. I wrote a book about the family with a top writer, packaged together with me by William Morris Agency. And it was a bestseller, and it got rave reviews in the New York Times and the Washington Post. Tells the story of the Reynolds family. It's not an anti-smoking tract by any stretch. I can do that. I do that in my live talks at universities and to kids in high school. But, basically, I support myself with my speaking fees, and acting never paid a lot of money. Now I'm doing a political action committee to elect Democrats, and that's what I'm passionate now.
Now let's start unpacking some of this anti-smoking stuff that you've gone through. When did you decide that the family business was toxic? Your father dies at 58. Did I see that? Is that around the age he died?
Good. Yeah.
And he obviously was a heavy, and I say that obviously because he wanted to keep the family brand in tow. And did he not know the dangers of smoking, or because it was such a rich business, he just went along with the program? What was his attitude towards smoking?
Well, I think he was in denial. I mean, I remember I didn't see him from the time of the divorce until I was 9. Okay, that really hurt, and I was sad about it. And I all men have issues with their fathers. Okay, and but I had a lot of grief and sadness and anger toward him, and that's one reason I wrote the book, to get to know him better. And tell the whole story of what happened in his life, and I'm getting lost here. You wanted to know?
Well, okay, let me lead you into this. So he dies of cigarette smoking. Is that the flashpoint moment of I can't embrace this at all? I have to really go against the family and start going against the whole smoking situation. And we're talking we're talking the 50s here. As far as I can tell, Patrick, smoking did not get really demonized until the mid 60s, and then they stopped the radio TV advertising in 1970, I believe. So cigarettes were having quite the ride. Doctors were endorsing them. All kinds of actors would be smoking on TV shows. Andy Griffith, I watched an episode last night. He's lighting up at the police station. It was completely embraced as very fun and exotic, or whatever you got out of it.
Yeah, I think Wilma Flintstone was smoking.
Cartoons were smoking. So what was the moment? What age were you when you went, this is it, I have to say something?
Sure. Well, I became a smoker myself, and in 1985, after like 15 years on and off, I quit. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. It was the year my mother died, and the year I went off I got divorced and to my first wife, and I went off to Spain to make Eliminators, that movie. So a lot going on in 1985, but I did quit smoking, stuck with it, and I knew how hard it was to quit. In 1986, and I had long been an advocate of higher tobacco taxes. When I was in Europe, I would pay like a lot more in Europe than I used to pay in the States for a pack of smokes. So the bottom line is something was weird about America, that our tax on tobacco was so low. And I later began learning more about it. but it got around Washington. A buddy of mine had invited me to testify, to attend a meet and greet with, he was a Republican. So meet and greet with all the big Republicans, from John McCain to Bob Dole, and we've gotten quiet rooms and coffee receptions and teas, briefings with Caspar Weinberger, the Secretary of Defense, and Paul Volcker, right in the Fed. And it got around that I said, why are tobacco taxes so low in America? And they didn't give me a straight answer about that. If they had, they would have said, well, 80% of Big Tobacco's money and campaign contributions is going to Republicans. So, of course, we don't want to raise tobacco taxes, so we don't believe in taxes. And, of course, we don't want to regulate with smoking bans, which were starting to be sweeping the country then. It was a partial ban in restaurants was controversial back in those days. And the Republicans used the ideology of not liking taxes or regulation. But, when it comes to tobacco, nobody likes taxes or regulation. But when it comes to tobacco, that's laser targeted tax. And because it stops kids from smoking, it gets people to quit smoking and incentivizes them. And it brings in revenue, and it pays for education programs in schools. So
when you started going anti-smoking, what was the blowback from the other Reynolds family members?
Well, they didn't like it. It was controversial. They thought,
but you weren't really part of the inheritance anymore, so that wasn't going to be cut off, right?
It was not an issue for me. That was decided when I was 16. My father left everything in a 2-page handwritten will to his last wife of about 1 year legally. So she got all the money, and we each got $2.5 million, which is, I don't want to say chump change, but it wasn't what somebody from my family would expect. So my father wanted us to work. He looked at his older sons. They weren't working. They weren't leading productive lives, put it that way. So he thought, I'm just going to disinherit them all. They can get a couple of million that they each got, and that's enough. But I didn't know how to manage the money, and I had quite a nice time for myself. I was living in Hollywood as an actor. I fell into acting. I went to film school to learn how to be a filmmaker. And then a girlfriend of mine was an upcoming star, Shelley Duvall, who starred in The Shining and also Olive Oil and Popeye. And she was Jack Nicholson's wife in The Shining. But right before that, we broke up. And we had been together a couple of years. And I used to, she said, come to the set of my film, Nashville. And I said, I'm not going to fit in, Shelley. I had long hippie hair. And
you were saying before we started that you were going to be you are in the movie Airplane, but for some indecipherable moment, but you were asked to be one of the Hare Krishnas, but you wouldn't shave your head.
I didn't want to shave my head.
All right.
No.
That goes back, Patrick, usually. Yeah. So wait, okay. I want to get to a few things here. And,
sure, but bottom line is, it got around Washington. I was asked to testify before Henry Waxman's committee about banning advertising, and I thought that's a great idea. I'd love to do that because I believed in it. And I looked, I spoke at the hearing, and I said, if the hand that once fed me is the tobacco industry, then that same hand has killed millions of people and may kill millions more. And they got a media trainer. And the trainer said, come on, we're going to ask you all the hardest questions we know reporters are going to ask.
Well, you're a perfect spokesperson because you were in the gut of a tobacco family, and that has such cachet for anti-smoking, my God. And I don't think anybody else has done anything quite like this, have they? Go against the family business. You saw The Godfather. Maybe you were in The Godfather, Patrick. I don't know. But you saw The Godfather. Never go against the family business. Were there any threats or whatever from other family members? What are you doing? You want to end up somewhere? You know what I mean?
Well, put it this way. George Gilder, who wrote Wealth and Poverty, the book, The Economist, whose book Reagan gave to the entire Congress, said, look, there's only two kinds of rich people. There's the rising business class and the declining old rich. And he said the declining old rich, they're always on the way out because they don't know how to parent their children. They give them too much money too young. They don't teach them the family business. And the beauty of that is that there's always room at the top for that people that are coming up to take the spot that the declining old rich used to have. My family, declining old rich, no fathering, no teaching business, and play, because he was victimized by getting so much money so young. He got it at 28.
So where does the company stand now? It's a publicly traded company, and right?
Yeah, they divested Oreo Nabisco. They divested the RJR International. It is a publicly traded company run by the mutual funds. And
it does well, right? Still, tell me this. Your grandfather did not invent aluminum foil, did he? He did not invent it.
No, that was his nephew that did that. He'd raised his nephew around the turn of the century, and it's all in my book. But he raised his nephew, taught him business, got a kick out of bumping elbows with the young guy. And finally, when RJR got married, the patriarch got married at age 52, maybe, and had 4 children. He took a look. He said, well, there's nothing here for me. I need to go start my own company. But RJ had trained him in business, given him all the know-how. That was the real inheritance that he passed on, not to his children, but to his nephew. And that guy went out and founded Reynolds Metals. As soon as RJ said, look, you got land with bauxite. That's what they make aluminum out of. Why don't you make aluminum foil? We'll wrap it around the cigarettes, keep them fresh. And that is how Reynolds Metals was
Oh, my God. Everybody doesn't smoke, but I would imagine almost everybody has a roll of Reynolds aluminum wrap in their house. That has to be a moneymaker. I don't even know of another aluminum foil. If it is out there, it's probably not as good as Reynolds. That in itself has to be a cash cow.
Well, it is, and they're diversified and a well-managed company. RJR has been a well-managed company, although they did become the bad boys of big tobacco by using cartoon characters like Joe Camel in their ads. But the bottom line is that the idea is that Republican ideology of don't regulate. Come on, we should do what we want to do.
Wait a minute, before you go into that.
I'm not going to go into it.
Okay. They've had warnings on cigarette packs for 50 years. Mm-hmm. And it says this product can kill you. So after that, isn't it anybody's choice at that intersection of, okay, I don't want it in public places, and we've gotten rid of smoking in most public places. That's a real good thing because you can't control the smoke of where it goes. I'm not a smoker. I'm sitting next to a smoker. I get the smoke. I understand that. That's good.
I know I got it. I'll give you the answers at the same time. There's not as much choice as the tobacco companies want smokers to believe. The first thing we know about addiction, people deny that they have an addiction. They think they're smoking out of choice. So it's the perfect con to tell a smoker you're smoking out of choice. The truth is you're addicted and you're probably powerless over your ability to, stop smoking cigarettes.
Is the problem that they didn't tell people it was addictive? I mean, but again, in the last 50 years, they've said it. This is going to probably kill you or you're going to be addicted. This is your choice. I don't understand.
Why should I get it? I hear you. Why should they be accountable? I'll tell you why. I agree. The smokers should be accountable for the quote, choice they made to smoke. But does that mean that we should let big tobacco go unaccountable? They targeted children as young as 14 in their ads for years. They have.
I agree.
Okay. They have I
want to get a lot out of you in the remaining time because we could sit here for a couple hours and unravel this.
So the lawsuits are valid.
Okay.
It's a shared accountability.
I get confused. I never smoked. I don't have a dog in this hunt or on the porch or wherever you put your dog. Okay. I'm looking at it in the logical way I like to look at things. Now you've got an industry where countries have tobacco that they're growing. They're making money off of it. And then you got the cigarette manufacturers. And then at the end of that pipeline, the taxes that these municipalities enjoy. So you're going to pull the plug on that, and these people that make it and whatever their position is, we really care about what happens at the end of the food chain with smokers. No, they're putting bread and food on their table because they work in tobacco farms and whatever industry that contributes to cigarettes. So how do you unplug that? Because it's follow the money. Right? What do we do now? What are you going to do with this?
I'll give you the answer that I have and that I know, which is that the tobacco industry claimed for years in congressional hearings that they didn't care about what about the poor small tobacco farmer? Indeed. Meanwhile, they're moving all the manufacture of tobacco, most of it, away from the tobacco producing states here in this country to poor third world countries like China, Mexico, South America, and vast mega plantations of low paid workers working on tobacco farms. And when they moved the manufacturing of tobacco overseas, as so many other industries did, that led the price of tobacco to come down. And they didn't really care about this little small tobacco farmers. The U Tennessee Knoxville has given some great seminars for farmers to help them transition successfully away from crops that poison people like tobacco and into fruit and vegetable production, or FVP.
And how much, what percentage of that, as opposed to how many tobacco farms we had 10, 20 years ago, what's the percentage? How many are now doing that?
I don't have that in front of me.
Let me throw some other numbers at you that you might be having, have some answers to. I saw there were about 1.1 billion smokers on the planet. Okay. Okay. How many were there 20 years ago, 40 years ago? Are we going down in that capacity?
Well, here's what I know. In the early 2000s, there was a 73% increase in smoking, even though it was trending downward in our country. And the reason for that is that they began aggressively marketing and advertising in the third world and Asia, where people were either poor or just uneducated, and they thought American products are really cool. So they began to make up for the sales they were losing in this country. They began an aggressive export campaign, and that's part of it. It's expected that around 5 to 10 million deaths a year are happening. Of the billion smokers in the world, statistically, about 40% of them will die from smoking. So how many hundreds of millions of deaths are there going to be from cigarettes and smoking? The good news is that in this country, anyway, we have had adopted 3 policies, government policies that work: raise the taxes on tobacco, we can't limit the advertising in America, but raise the taxes on tobacco. That stops kids from getting addicted, a lot of them, and it also incentivizes smokers to quit, brings in revenue. And secondly, smoking bans make tobacco not a legal product, but a semi-legal product. It's not legal to smoke in most places now. And the third big factor in the big drop we've had in smoking in America is the paid advertising campaigns on television, first instituted by the Obama administration. Some of the states used some of their money from the settlement against the lawsuits against big tobacco to recover the costs of Medicare and Medicaid. So those 3 things taken together cut our smoking rate by half, over half now in the last 50 to 60 years.
Is there a tipping point, Patrick, on the price? I know they keep adding these taxes. They call it a sin tax. And these packs are $10, $12 in some cities. And everybody says, well, if it gets to $7, $8, I'm not smoking anymore. Is there a number that you think where people go, I can't really afford it anymore? That's a house payment or a car payment if I do 2-3 packs a day. Is there a number that they've talked about that is that number? If you're addicted, I guess you're addicted, right?
Well, the hardcore addicts are going to keep buying cigarettes, and that's been shown. The people who can quit do quit. And at our website, the website that I run for the charity that I run, and donations are tax deductible, Tobaccofree.
All right, Alan, put that. Yeah, Alan, you have 2 charities, right, that you work out of?
Yeah, one's a Christmas charity for needy kids. We get them presents in time for Christmas morning.
Okay, there's the one, tobaccofree.org. What's the other one?
bnelf.org.
BNELF?
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. All right. Listen, I got to wrap it up. There's a lot to talk about, but we got to the core there. And I know I heard you say that 90% of people who get addicted to smoking start before the age of 19. After 19, it really tapers off. It starts when you're in your teens, so don't smoke is the lesson here.
If you can stay off till 21, and thank God they've raised the purchase age to 21. We couldn't get it done under the Republican administrations, but we got it done. 21 is now the legal age to purchase cigarettes, and that will help a lot, even though they're still getting it from willing co-conspirators.
All right, Patrick, it was a pleasure. Thank you. Continued success with this.
Thank you.
Thanks. Patrick Reynolds. Wow. That's a journey. And I go back to this thought of, I remember I ate my weight in candy cigarettes when I was a kid every month, I think. I remember I don't even know if do they have candy cigarettes? Leslie, do you know if they still have, do you see those anywhere? They had candy cigarettes.
Right. There are a couple of throwback candy stores where they've brought back the candy cigars and cigarettes.
Yeah, but not on the regular candy racks.
No, you're not.
But I didn't move from candy to real. It was a fun thing. In fact, I think most people should start with the candy ones at well, you can't smoke at bars. So you're better off just put the candy one at the bar. You got something you've smoked, right? You were a smoker?
I did.
And tell me what it does.
Well, that nicotine, it gets you.
Yeah.
The first couple times you're coughing and stuff, but you look really cool, and that's where that thing happens. And I think the first cigarette I had, I was 11, and we stole it from Lynn Hoffman's father, and we smoked it, and we coughed really hard. But by high school,
the coughing was gone, and you were happy with it.
I was looking good, and when I was in college, I smoked like seriously, and part of that was there was a sense that if you smoke cigarettes, it would make a woman's voice sound like yours.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, well, this is a career builder. I'm gonna smoke me some cigarettes. And and by that time you're hooked, and then you get up in the morning and your back hurts and you're coughing and your fingers smell funky, and at some point
you smoke seriously. When I was using the candy cigarettes, I smoked comically. I was smoking comically.
Right. I did quit, though. I've been off the ciggy butts for a long, long time. I quit the day I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, and I thought, shit, if there is one thing that's going to make a difference here, that's it. If I can't quit now, I'll never quit at all. And my husband, longtime smoker, and has suffered because of it. He quit when he had his heart attack. Either
my
there's a price to
my
pay.
sister was a big smoker. She died of heart troubles about 5 years ago, and I mean, it's tough to watch. Here's the thing.
I mean,
before we went on, we were in the green room with Patrick, and I said, "Hey, grab a cocktail." And he goes, "It's 3 PM in California." And then he goes on to tell us about the history of his alcoholic family. I'm thinking, wow, that was nice.
Oh, we used to tell stories in our family about my grandpa and the still down in Missouri, and he'd ride on the train and he'd find speakeasies. Oh, golly. But, there is something about that adulting that draws you into these activities, and it's bad for you, but what are you going to do?
What is your what?
Whole different subject. Do you want to change topics here?
I do in just a second. How do you feel about free will of you've been told what this does to you? You're on your own. If you want to do it, just don't do it in a public place, because I can't stay away from it if I'm not a smoker.
And anybody who's listened to me through the years knows that I tend to be kind of libertarian in that way. You're adults. It's a free country. You make your choices. How it affects, and that is what Patrick brought up. It's how it affects children is a very different thing, and that's a very complicated topic. But
and it's got a revenue source.
I'm not going to go pissing on people who smoke or drink, and it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can't piss on the drinkers.
No, we can't,
Obviously.
can we?
Well, okay. Yes, let's do shift gears now because we got Ryan coming up. What are you going to do? Because I got to do something with Keith.
Okay, well, first, and I noticed it came up in the comments, and that is that our Johnny from Michigan, isn't it funny? Patrick Reynolds brought up President Eisenhower. And isn't it it was Roosevelt.
No. Oh, well, yeah. Patrick brought up Roosevelt. Johnny's dad was Eisenhower's dentist. Yeah, get your president straight.
So I think I said, well, anyway, and Johnny's had some tooth problems. He broke a tooth this week, and a lot of people are concerned because he posted it on Facebook. He says,
and he broke it eating ice cream, right?
It was something, just ridiculous.
Some peanut butter ice cream or something.
They fall out occasionally. It just happens. But
yeah, they do. Your teeth fall out. That happens. I wish the great creator would have had us built so we lose our teeth when we're kids, and then we get another set when we're 50. All of them fall out, and we get new ones, and then we get that takes us through the rest of our life. That's the only flaw in how we're designed.
Would have been cool. Yeah, 4 sets would be cool because, I blew out a whole bunch of mine at 11, and they went, "Oh wait, those are your adult teeth." But I'm a kid, man, and they're like, "No, that's you're a goner. Sorry, kid."
Peanut butter ice cream. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
He broke his
he is
tooth
going in
on peanut butter ice cream. He's got an appointment on Tuesday. Hey, I got to go back to Patrick for one more thing because I bit my tongue when he was talking about his mother and that gigolo that wooed her.
Yeah.
And the gigolo, she's on the boat, and the gigolo goes, "Hey, bring Dick." Apparently that was, yes, her husband. And I'm thinking, well, she didn't bring that Dick, but he brought his own. Yeah, okay.
That's what he said.
Hey, now.
And that was one of those names that, when you...
I know.
Okay, I'm showing my age, but the guy that he brought up, it was like Agi Khan, or crap. I'm sorry, but you guys, and that was like, he's richer than that name, and it was like that oil wealth kind of name that people would drop.
Right.
And this is who his mom was being lured by. Yeah, I could see where.
Yeah, imagine back then the money these people had. RJ Reynolds in the late 1800s, early 1900s, how much money this guy had. There were no income taxes then. None. Cocaine was available. It was in candy dishes on most tables. Like his aluminum foil, it was everywhere. And maybe he got the aluminum foil because he thought, I got to wrap cocaine in something. Somebody invent little foil things. Okay. Keith, can we bring Keith up? Because I have to tell him something that's kind of funny here. We often show Keith's Titanic that he built out of balsa wood from scratch.
Yeah, I'm working on my giant Hindenburg model right now.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
So we've shown this, and then I get this text from Lloydster, and he said, "That's pretty impressive considering Keith only has one hand." And I texted back and I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "I've heard you talk about this producer or somebody who only has one hand." And I thought, oh, he's thinking of, remember Duffy from our radio station that we worked at? He was the production guy, and Duffy was born with a deformed arm, and he didn't have a hand. It was almost not a full arm even. And we would talk about it. Duffy was not shying away from it. We talked about it, but that's not Keith. Keith, hold up both of your hands.
Yeah, I got both.
Okay, they're both real. Yeah, and he built it with both hands. And now hold up the GarrForce backdrop because I think you're ready to throw that away because I never see it hung up anywhere. Where is it? There it is.
Behind me, so
yeah. I sent him my old, or Alan sent him one to put up, and he just doesn't know where to put it up. And I'm just waiting for him to think, well, he's forgotten about it, and I'll just throw it away.
I think Keith should give it away. We should just do a random drawing, and then it'll be out of Keith's background.
You want to give it away?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, because I know you're not really
wow,
enthralled
that was
with it.
fast.
Yeah, really? You're not attached to it?
Yeah.
You don't want to cover
there's a lot of memories tied up with it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to cover your Titanic plexiglass case so it doesn't get dusty with it? Jesus.
By the
All
way,
right.
even if Keith only had one hand, he would still be able to build that Titanic. It would just take him slightly longer.
Right. He'd have the
That's
pieces
true.
in his mouth.
Yeah.
He'd
Damn
use his
straight.
mouth. All right. So we got that cleared up. All right. Where are we in the program so I can manage the remaining minutes here? We have to do Ryan. Should we have people
so
queue up
should-
for the grab bag?
Or should we make it let's do the wine condom and the throw? That's a pretty damn decent giveaway, if you ask me. I'm
Keith, you'll
thinking.
drop it in the mail then?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that. Now, let's come up with the phrase, and then I want to pay homage to the fine sponsors. What's the phrase?
Hashtag Reynolds. What do you say? Or does Alan have something else in the queue here? I think hashtag Reynolds seems like that's easy enough, don't you think?
Hashtag Reynolds. Put that in the queue, and then in a few minutes, he'll hit the computer, and somebody's going to win a condom and a GarrForce. It's much like the one behind me. It's a nice little blanket, actually.
I don't know why he's so reticent, but he's
Walter,
got a lot of stuff.
Okay, Walter, it's not hashtag black lungs. That is not what you're put in there. Stop it. God damn it. If we don't
I should have
get people in line here. All right. Okay, let's pay homage to the fine sponsors, starting with Bettenhausen Automotive.
A legend has returned. See the all-new 2022 Wagoneer at Bettenhausen in Tinley Park. The Wagoneer has the spirit for adventure, equipped with everything you would need no matter where your trails lead. And Bettenhausen has this most premium SUV ever built in stock, with many to choose from. Come in and see what the all-new Wagoneer offers you at Bettenhausen. Your best Wagoneer buying experience starts now at BettenhausenCDJR.com.
Mike Bettenhausen, John Doolin are the guys there at Bettenhausen that will take care of you. And I know, Leslie, you're looking for a used car pretty soon, and they're going to take care of you, I'm sure. That cockpit in the Wagoneer.
I would go nowhere else.
No,
Honestly.
you can't. You won't. The cockpit. Did you see the cockpit in that Wagoneer? That's sweet.
I went on their website, and it is so comprehensive. It turns out that finding used cars these days is not an easy task, but they make it super cool.
Yes, they do. Now, if you're looking for a mortgage or a refi or any of the stuff involved in that, this is the guy right here. David Hochberg and his team will guide you through that with a free consultation, and then hopefully you'll do business with them. They have all the answers you need, and you're going to call a bank, and they're just waiting to go to lunch. They're going to put you on hold and waste your frickin' time. Stop. Call the number there, 855-56-DAVID, and get the free consultation. And David, I've known for 20-some years, and he's the guy. He is the guy. All right. I talked to Mike Maskow today from roasttoorder.shop, the coffee and tea place. That's where you should get your coffee and tea. And he was telling me, hey, tell people, so good. He was telling me to tell people about the e-Brews letter that he sends out. Go to the website and get the Brews letter, because they have articles and exclusive promotions, discounts and stuff. Yeah, sign up for that and get on that, and then you'll see all the great stuff that they have at roasttoorder.shop. And my life has been nicely rearranged in the last few weeks since I start the day with Roast to Order coffee.
Are you noticing that there's not the acidity in like doing the prep? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what swill was I drinking before all those years? I mean, my God.
Golly, it has changed my life tremendously. So thank you.
I walk around with a bag and just snort it. I mean, not I take the aroma in.
You said you emptied a bag and you just kept it around.
I know.
For the
aroma. I love that aroma. And now I've got the best aroma in coffee ever. And Mike Maskow has been so good about everything. Last week, he gave away 5 gift cards to listeners, and he'll do that again in the future. We'll have him on once a month. So that's all good. And I'm happy to. And if you're not a coffee drinker, he's got tea.
Well, Jessica's just texting in saying she won a gift card last week. She got her coffee on Wednesday, and it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, the cards went out as soon as I got the addresses and emails and stuff. I sent it to Mike, and they were getting stuff the next day and going and getting their coffee. Coffee arrives instantly. It's so good. Everything's good. I mean, I know things are bad. If you look outside your bunker, I don't want to look outside my bunker because I don't want to. I weed whacked today, by the way, Leslie, to get myself in my right mood. Got
It's
some weed
part of
whacking
your
in.
routine.
Yeah,
And,
very zen.
You know, and that's the thing. We could all focus on the negative. It's always going to be there, but damn it, I like to focus on the positive.
I'm a happy idiot and will always be. It will be on my tombstone. Here lies a happy idiot.
A happy idiot.
Yeah.
So I guess we should talk to Ryan. I got some stuff too. I saw a Guinness World Record set this week.
Yes,
and
you
I
did.
need to
And we're
bring
going to
that
look
to the
at what
table
you
here.
saw in just a few minutes. Ryan, speaking of cutting things, he has signed up for the local church to cut their grass once a month.
I have. I had my orientation last night. It's 4 hours of mowing between the zero turn, the push mower, and the weed whacker. So I've got to brush up on my zero turn skills. You notice I'm in a different location. I'm in Illinois, and my brother has one of those. So that's going to be my weekend project is brush up on my zero turn.
He's gone to his parents' house in Illinois from his Wisconsin mansion. And he was saying that when he met with the people at the church, he noticed that there's not trimming around some things. And he brought that up. And the people that do it go, shut up.
Yes.
We don't do all the detail work. That takes more time.
So I'm gonna be that person, the newbie that does all the detail work and then, put him to shame. But it's close to our house, and that's where my son goes to school. So I thought it was a good, it's a good activity to get back.
And then next year there will be one volunteer to do all the lawn
it'll be
care,
me.
and
It'll be
it's
my
gonna
full-time
you.
job. Yes.
Now they had 2 guys do it before, twice a month, and now they got 4 once a month. That's nice.
Yeah, so we can divide it up. So yeah.
Some of these churches do really good things. And my mother had this service because I couldn't get out there to cut her grass all the time, but the church had a service where they would send somebody over to cut her lawn. And I was really happy with that because I had so many other things to do, and they helped out on that. So, because I love doing that yard work, but I just couldn't get out there sometimes. And now she's in assisted living, so there's no grass to cut.
I have a coffee story for you. So we got our roast to order, and we're enjoying that. And Jamie said to me, "This coffee smells funny." And I said, "Well, what do you mean it smells funny?" "Oh, I can smell it all over the kitchen when I take it out in the bag." And I said, "That's how the coffee's supposed to smell."
Yeah.
"Oh, I guess I've newer had coffee that's been fragrant and actually,
Yeah, you've been drinking.
She
we've all been
saying
drinking
that.
Swill for years. It was Swill. Hey,
So
have
she
you?
kept thinking something was wrong, and I said, "No, that's how coffee's supposed to be."
Hey, have you seen this video going around? A friend of mine sent me this video. It's a guy sitting with the 3 sizes of Starbucks cups, and he takes the small cup filled with coffee and he pours it in to the medium cup, which is grande, and it fills it all the way to the top. And then he takes that and pours it into the venti, and that fills it all.
I've
so
seen those
selling
things.
you.
I've
what
seen
is
those
that?
faked, Gary.
They're fake?
Those are fake.
They're fake.
Yeah, those videos are fake.
So if you did that on your own, the coffee
you'll end up with a half a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Okay. How does Starbucks let that happen though? Because that doesn't look good.
But it is true. It is true if you take a rocks glass and you pour it into a tumbler, the changing of the shape of the glass will in fact change what it looks like you have volume wise.
I can also tell you that if you get one of the iced products, it's a hell of a lot of ice that you're paying for. There.
I have to
you
tell
get
them
2
little
sips
ice.
and she's a goner.
Yeah, little ice, because I'm not going to give you $5-6 for ice, and that's what they're trying to do. It's a brilliant concept. They've obviously done well. Cindy said she got a nice letter with her gift card last week from Mike Mascow from Roast to Order. That's the kind of people we love. All right.
So, Alan, one more thing. Do you want to share that image that I shared? I know we like neat packaging. This was a drug bust of 105 pounds of marijuana in Oklahoma. And look at how neat that is. And all the cell phones are labeled. And isn't that beautiful?
Yes, I love the presentation, the buffet, the drug buffet, the drug bust buffet. It's usually guns that they angle, and then the cell phones.
You can tell where the cell phones, they labeled driver, backseat, center console.
Wow.
I mean, it's detailed. I was laughing about that. They had a little weed in the center console, and then they must have had the stash in the trunk. But,
Yeah, okay.
So I thought that was funny.
Somebody got a
thank
vacuum
RJ Reynolds for inventing the packaging. All right, good.
So I do have a prepared report too. So
I'm sure you do. Here it comes, the Wisconsin report. Alan?
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, so it's going to look a little different than usual. Here it comes.
Okay.
It's all me.
It's all him. Here it comes.
Wisconsin, yeah, hey.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan. Ready for some more fun stories out of Wisconsin? Well, I've got a few here for you. We had talked about World Naked Gardening Day. Well, here's the companion piece, World Naked Biking Day. It's going on in Madison, Wisconsin on June 18th. Organizers say it helps promote selfhood and agency. Not sure what that even means, and that there's going to be a public viewing area to be announced soon. Does that mean like everybody gathers and watches everybody parade by? Not real sure of those two aspects. If you want to join in the fun, you have to join a private group to get the invite. I think I'm going to pass on that one. What happens if you're hungry, you're drunk, and it's late and you want some food? Well, you break into a bar and cook yourself pizza and serve yourself drinks. Sit at the bar, enjoy as much cocktails as you want, and eat the pizza until the police show up. Well, this happened in Waukesha, Wisconsin. A hungry, drunk fellow walked into a bar that was locked, broke in, and then enjoyed some beer and pizza before he was arrested. Other than that, things are nice here in Wisconsin. It's warm, it's sunny, and we're ready for some festivals and some other craziness. If that happens, we'll talk about it next week. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon.
That reminds me of that story where that woman found where George Harrison's house was on Maui and went in there and was doing her laundry when they found her. Yeah, they just make themselves at home.
So
yeah, okay, all right. What was the technical glitch there?
I cut I recorded a little too tight on the top of my head. You see, it was cut off. So
Ryan cut his head off.
Yeah. Okay. So Alan did some beautiful work there and made it look like fun little TV program. So.
Okay.
Wow.
Everything's fine.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Where
Alan.
are we here? We're giving
Charlie,
away stuff?
enter again. It's Reynolds, REYNOLDS. So
Charlie.
watch it part of And as long as you haven't won before, please hashtag Reynolds and we will do the drawing shortly.
Johnny from Michigan said, I've seen the World Naked Biking Day in Chicago a couple years ago. Yeah, that's where I saw it. I walked out of a restaurant. I didn't know it was naked old biking logo. Okay, have another drink, Garry. Naked Biking Night.
Wow, you're only halfway through even.
Yeah, I know. Look at that. I got plenty to do here.
Charlie, for frack's sake, it's hashtag Reynolds.
Okay.
Sorry.
And here's the thing with bicycle seats for men. There's not a lot of area there to rest your junk. It flops, right?
And we've talked about it before about going to nude beaches, and the image that you have built up in your head ain't nothing close to what you encounter. And God, there's just so much skin.
It's usually here are the categories. Naked guys playing volleyball. They seem, I don't want to judge. They seem to be gay, and that's fun. Nothing wrong with it. And they were actually the better looking of the bunch. Old guys on bicycles where their scrotum is dragging in the sand, and then large people. Those are your categories. If you're looking for the centerfold, the hot people, usually not.
Do you remember the movie Waking Ned Devine?
No.
No, it was an indie film from the early 2000s, I think.
I think Patrick Reynolds was in that. Leslie looked up Patrick Reynolds.
He was in
IMDb.
Hair. Oh my God. So I started geeking because he was in Xanadu. And I don't know if you guys appreciate like a bad musical from the 70s starring Gene Kelly, but doggone it, he was in that. And and Olivia Newton-John. Come on, what great company he was in.
Hey.
But anyway.
All right. So where are we
sorry,
here? We're ready
Alan?
to give something away. Alan?
Well,
Do you want to give it away? I've got the fruit stand loaded up, but I'll switch to the giveaway if you want.
Oh, yeah. I want to see. Here's a Guinness World Record that Leslie and her husband saw. Those are all bananas.
Yeah. It's the world's largest banana stand. And for those of you who love Arrested Development, I did look and there was no money in the banana stand. And then at the end, after, there it is from across the street.
Jesus.
I think that's from the drug dispensary. No, it was from Las Palmas. I took the picture from the Mexican restaurant. It was 2 semis long and just as high as a semi-tractor trailer. And then they started handing out the bananas to the public afterward. The rest went to the Greater Chicagoland Food Depository and other local charities. But yeah, families were loading up. Kids were just having a great time. And there it is. That's what you get for all of that. That's what Guinness gives you, is like, here's your plaque and it's GE, good enough.
Okay. You are a trendsetter in that you gave away something a few weeks ago. Oh, Matt gave me a T-shirt. I like to start my mornings with a double beaver. Yeah, leave it to beaver. And he made a T-shirt out of that. Thank you, Matt. There's the T-shirt. Thank you. And Leslie is a trendsetter. She gave away something in this part of the show a few weeks ago, the portable female urinal cup or whatever it's called.
Right.
And look at this picture. This is somebody using it. That's a nice item to have.
Is that for adults only?
Look at this. There it is in use. Yeah.
Holy schmoly.
Yep.
Once again,
you gave it away.
That's
better than
Tracy
touching
from
anything.
Racine.
Tracy from Racine gave it to you, and then she said you can re-gift it, and you're going to do that with that Schnauzer plate or whatever that is.
Eventually, but I think I'm going to put it up for a little bit.
Yeah, you like it.
Put it in the broadcast nook. Well,
you're not as attached to it as Keith is. Well, not attached to the GarrForce blanket. All right.
I am attached to it, unlike Keith. Yeah.
Okay, the condom and the blanket are going. Alan, let's hit the computer. #Reynolds. Here we go. Jadine. She wins. All right, Jadine. Gotcha. Ellen, tell her what she should do.
Since you're a YouTube follower, why don't you email Garry Meier Show at GarryMeier.com or text 773-888-2157. Regular charges apply. Give us your address. We'll get it over to Keith and to Leslie, and they will get the toys and blanket out to you. Right? They're toys, aren't they, Leslie?
I believe it's an actual important usable device to help cap your wine when you just don't want to use the screw top. Okay, so I'm so lazy. I've gone screw tops a lot these days, but
that's what she said. Hey, Keith, can you show the blanket that somebody's going to get?
He did. He was showing it. How nice.
Yeah, there it is. That's soft. That's nice. It's upside down, but it's nice. There it is.
Okay.
He's only got one hand, ladies and gentlemen. That's the best he can do. There it is. You're going to get that too.
Dean, you are so lucky. Oh, golly.
That's a nice
But there will be cool things because, like I said, Ryan sent me a lot of things to fill up the...
Hey, can you preview that inflatable, not inflatable, it's whatever that woman is?
Yeah.
I don't know where he found this.
I don't know.
Amazon suggested it to me. I've ordered enough crap on Amazon.
Yeah, I'm sure you're ordering some stuff that we don't know about because they said this might interest you. Look at this thing.
It says it is for adults. It's grow a girlfriend. It's not pretend when you grow the perfect friend. So there she is. Let's get her without a little glare.
And you put it in water and it gets how much bigger?
6 times larger when you put it in water. I mean, so those of us who've had kids, you remember those dinosaurs? Did you ever buy your daughter the dinosaurs?
Yeah.
And then you have these really shitty sponges. Yep. You have these wonderful sponges around the house. Yes. Well, this one's in like kind of a skimpy bikini. So at some point, that's in there.
All right. Shitty Sponges is a good clown name. Let's take out the cannoli and give it its complimentary. Here it is. It's beautiful.
You're not going to do any batches?
Oh, my God. Look at our time.
Yeah.
But it's 1:10. I mean, we're an hour and
Up
10
to you
minutes.
guys.
Just let the affiliates know, right?
Yeah. What do you want to do? Your call.
Should we at least do the stories that I teased this morning on the
Yeah,
pre-show?
do those.
So a 7-foot. Hang on. It helps when you start at the beginning of this. A Florida man is recovering after being bitten by a 7-foot alligator that he mistook for a dog. The unnamed victim was walking outside a motel in Sarasota County shortly after midnight on Wednesday. He says he saw some movement out of the corner of his eye that appeared to be a dog on a leash walking through some nearby bushes. So he decides to approach the dog, realizing too late that it wasn't a dog at all. The gator lunged and took a big chunk out of his leg. Fortunately, a deputy responding to another call in the area heard the victim's cries and rendered aid. The gator was later caught and they say relocated. And let's hope that relocated
Yeah, let's hope that's relocated. Thumbs up to the gator. If you don't know the difference between a gator and a dog, you deserve to get bitten.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I've never made that mistake in the neighborhood in 8 years.
You nearly made that mistake?
I said I've never made that mistake in 8 years. And the other sort of incredible part to me in the story is that I've never gotten to a point where I've seen the gators in the neighborhood where as soon as they see me, they run. They have no interest in us. They only come lunging if they're really, really hungry or they think you're a good opportunity.
Okay, so two things that we should address with Alan. Do we think that something horrible has happened to the ducklings that we've been following, or have they just moved on?
I think they've moved on. I mean, they are the right age to have moved on, and they were almost mama size the last I had seen them. So I don't think that anything other than what may happen to any wild duck in the wild has happened. And there's plenty of ducks in the neighborhood. I don't think these ducklings. I think the 5 ducklings survived to maturity to leave mama.
Okay.
And
cool.
if you haven't followed the story, the ducklings, there were 8 of them, and then there were 5.
7 and 5. Yeah.
7 and 5. Okay.
5. Yeah. 6, 5.
Last year, the ones I followed only got down to 3. So this mama did a better job or had better luck, one or the other.
The other thing, Alan called me up because I did the story out of Disney Paris about the.
Here, wait. I'm gonna grab something while you're talking. Go ahead.
Really?
That's what she said.
I was going to turn the camera off. I'll be back. Go ahead.
Okay, that's none of our business, Alan.
We had this story about this proposal that went viral. The man is getting down on one knee. His bride, or his fiance, hopefully, is standing there. They're in front of a castle at Disneyland Paris, at which point this employee comes dashing in, steals the ring out of the groom's hand, and goes, you know what, the picture would be better down there, and screws up their proposal in an epic fashion. So it all went viral. I made the mistake of saying it was Cinderella's castle, but our Alan knows better, and he said, "Oh no, no, no."
Yeah, that's Sleeping Beauty Castle.
Oh my God!
Because
How can
it's
you make
Paris.
that mistake?
I know.
How
I feel
can
so
you do
stupid
that?
now.
My God! Everybody knows that.
I was going to say, I mean, the difficulty, of course, is there are 2 Cinderella castles. One here in Florida, about 2 miles that way.
That way.
And in fact, I guess it's in my fake Renoir back here. It's right there next to the Renoir, and
Wow.
that was an early Photoshop job I did years and years ago. Anyway, there's one here, there's one in Tokyo, and then there's 2 Sleeping Beauty castles. There's the one in France that looks like that, and there's the original one at Disneyland that has that classic look that people remember from TV.
Yeah.
Actually,
Don't try to pull that shit in front of Alan. He will call you on it.
And so with that, we here on the GarrForce, when we are corrected, we're more than happy to issue retractions and explanations, and if need be, apologies. So my apologies. And then finally, a man in Washington state is facing fraud charges for insuring his car about a half hour after crashing it. The charges stem from an incident back in 2019 when the owner of the car was involved in a crash with another vehicle. 26 minutes later, he contacted Progressive Insurance to have the car added to his policy, failing to mention, of course, the accident. But when the other driver filed a claim the next day, the insurance company did some investigating and found that police had responded to the crash those 26 minutes before the policy went into effect. In addition to the fraud charges, the individual in question is still on the hook for another $3,700 in damage to the other guy's vehicle.
Here's the commercial campaign I want to see. I want to see Flo beat the shit out of this guy on camera.
Exactly.
Huh?
I mean, come on. But not to mention, it's an insurance company. They have people hired strictly to look into those things.
Oh God, I hate humanity. All right, let's give out that nice cannoli. Look at it; it's beautiful. It's complimentary. Take the cannoli. There it is. All right, what about the schnauzer?
You know what? Wrap it in Reynolds wrap, because I mean,
Okay, there it is.
You
and
never
fetch on all
know.
fours. You never know. It'll keep it fresh.
It keeps the aliens away.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, 3 in the green. Gear is down. Flaps are down. We'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend. The voice of the globe, the GarrForce, has landed.
If you like that, I got other stuff I think you're going to like. This is the GarrForce.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And please tell your friends and family to like and subscribe too.
All right. Yeah.
More eyeballs. It's a good thing.